Hello YouTube, CivilianSnowman here, and today I've got another DVD and Blu Ray update for you. So I'm going to start with the one and only DVD I actually bought recently, and that is In America, a film that I rented from Blockbusters in a deal, rent 5 films for £5 for 7 nights. I was picking different films to rent and needed to pick a fifth, and I saw In America and I thought, it's Paddy Considine, the actor, and I've never seen it. So I rented it, and my god, I absolutely fell in love with this movie. I literally, after watching it and returning it to Blockbusters, that night I went on Amazon and ordered it. It's basically about an Irish family that pack up and leave and go to live in New York, and it's about how they have to, reinvent themselves and rebuild their lives after a family tragedy in a completely new city. It is a tearjerker, but it's done so well. It's one of the best I've seen in a long time, so I highly recommend In America. Okay, on to the Blu-rays that I bought, the first of which is a Blu-ray that a lot of you are going to lose a bit of respect for me for, but let me explain. I had a shit ton of my parents' Steven Seagal movies to get rid of, so I traded them in at Blockbusters and got enough for a Blu-ray. Now, there was only one Blu-ray on the shelf that I didn't already own, and it's a film that I absolutely hate. I was going to review it for YouTube, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It was originally going to be a group therapy session type of review with a load of different people who were all felt abused by this movie, but it is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, you may be asking yourself, if you hate it so much, why did you get it on Blu-ray? The reason being is, I wanted the special features because I am a big fan of X-Men. I wanted it for completist's sake, and thirdly, I didn't pay for it, I traded in, so that was all good. So that's X-Men Origins Wolverine. Next, I bought one of my favourite films of this year that's just come out on Blu-ray, and that is Kick-Ass. Now, I needn't really say much about this. I did an in-depth review back when it came out on my channel. This is the Black Steelbook that I ordered from Amazon. It's 3 discs, 2 copies of the film, 1 Blu-ray, 1 DVD, and the special features disc as well. It's a fantastic film, definitely in the top 5 of the year for me. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It really is just escapist entertainment at its best. If you want any more of my thoughts on Kick-Ass, go check out the review I did months ago. But yeah, I thoroughly recommend Kick-Ass. Next, I got a horror film that I really fell in love with when I first saw it and realised it had just been released on Blu-ray, and that is Wreck, the Spanish kind of Blair Witch meets Dawn of the Dead movie about a zombie outbreak in an apartment building, and it's not so much original as it takes a tried and tested concept such as the POV shot film, zombies and all that stuff, and puts an almost original twist on it. It shows you something you haven't seen before, so that's Wreck. I also at the same time picked up Wreck 2 on Blu-ray, which I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether it was going to be as good as the first one, but seriously, this one just takes the ball and runs with it. I was really impressed with Wreck 2. Up until about halfway through, I was a bit dubious, thinking it could be a bit repetitive. I really don't know where this is going. Is it going to add anything to the mythology? And let me just say, it really does. It seriously, it picks up on what was only hinted at in the first film. I don't want to go into spoilers, so I'm trying to be quite vague with it. So, stuff that was only hinted at in the first film is taken all the way in this film. And not to its detriment, it feels like it's actually, the story's kind of growing organically. It doesn't feel forced for a sequel. And it leaves it open for a third, which, judging by the first 2 movies, is not a bad idea. I really do like these movies, Wreck. They're original twist on the zombie genre, so I thoroughly recommend Wreck 2. I also picked up a movie that I saw this weekend at Sam Bellucci Media Geek's house, a film that I haven't seen since I saw it in the cinema. Watched it with Sam and actually enjoyed it a lot more than I did originally, and that is Fast and Furious. Now, I'm a big fan of the first one, the Fast and Furious. It's a remake of Point Break with sports cars instead of surfing, so that's pretty cool. The third one, Tokyo Drift, is actually a legitimately good movie. I have a lot of time for Tokyo Drift. This film, when I saw it in the cinema, I thought it took itself too seriously and was a bit of an anticlimax for the series, but upon a second viewing, I did like it a lot more for what it was, for the action film that it was, and to be honest, the way the reunion between the characters is underplayed, I actually found a lot more charming than I did originally. So Fast and Furious, this was £9 on Blu-ray. I actually recommend buying this. If you're a fan of the series but were unsure about this one, I'd buy it because it's actually quite good. I really did enjoy Fast and Furious. Next film I got is called Dogtooth. It's a Greek family drama / thriller, basically about a pair of Greek parents who have 3 children, all in their 20s, and keep them isolated from the outside world and teach them utter nonsense about the outside world. So they would tell them that a salt shaker is called a telephone, and you know, they would mess with their heads, and it's basically it explores the effects of that kind of upbringing on the human psyche. I loved this movie, I have to say. All I knew about this was what I'd seen in the trailer, and I bought it on Blu-ray and absolutely loved it. One of my favourite filmmakers is Michael Haneke, who I'm sure anybody who knows about film knows about Michael Haneke, and this movie really reminded me of a Michael Haneke movie. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, one of the most unsettling and unnerving films I've seen in a long time. I don't want to say much more about it than that, because I think you should go in kind of fresh when you watch it, but I thoroughly recommend Dogtooth. The next film I got that I actually watched last night for the first time is The Killer Inside Me, the new Michael Winterbottom film starring Casey Affleck. Now this is about a sheriff's deputy who is a psychotic serial killer, and I didn't know what to expect going into this, because it made the news over here when it came out for its depiction of violence against women, and it actually says on the back, this is what it legitimately says by the BVFC certificate, it says, contains very strong violence, sadomasochistic sex scenes and child abuse. So you kind of know what you're getting into when you watch it. I have to say though, I absolutely loved this movie. It was a lot better than I was expecting. I kind of expected it to just be controversial scenes strung together with no real story, but I really enjoyed it. Casey Affleck is absolutely brilliant in it. He's fast becoming one of my favourite actors. Kind of reminded me of American Psycho. It's almost like American Psycho set in Texas in the 1960s, directed by the Coen brothers. Now if that tickles your fancy, I highly recommend The Killer Inside Me. It was a real surprise of a movie. The final film I got is one that I absolutely loved when I saw it on the big screen and have been waiting with anticipation for its release, and that is Werner Herzog's Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. This, as you can see, comes with a lenticular case with an iguana that crawls across the front. Absolutely brilliant film. It really cemented the idea that Nicolas Cage's career is back on track. First there was this film where he plays a cop who is just flying off the handle, snorting cocaine, abusing old ladies. It's insane. It's one of the most insane films I've seen in a long time. Nicolas Cage is absolutely brilliant in it, and this, along with Kick-Ass, because Nicolas Cage is obviously in Kick-Ass as Big Daddy, it really cements him as an actor to be reckoned with. I thoroughly recommend this movie. It's one of the best of the year, probably. Well, one of the best of last year, because it was actually theatrically released last year, but only just made it over here this year. So it's one of the best films of 2009, and it's one that when I originally saw the trailer, I thought it looked like a piece of shit, but I watched it based on DVD Weasel's recommendation at the cinema, and absolutely loved it. So that's Bad Lieutenant. Okay, so that's it for this DVD and Blu-ray update. Now, I do have a small kind of announcement to make. I'm not going to be around for the next couple of weeks. The reason being is I'm going on a trip that I've actually mentioned in a previous video, and I'm going to make a kind of a travel journal here on YouTube, edit together some videos and put them up. They'll be going up in about 2 weeks' time, and they will surprise you. They really will surprise you. So, yeah, stay tuned for that, and thank you to everybody who watches, rates, comments, subscribes. You're all absolutely brilliant. This is CivilianSnowman signing out. I'll see you later. Bye.